So, yeah, thanks everyone for joining and jumping into our Prepare for VC Accelerator Demo Day event. We're really excited to have all of you here today and excited for all of our startups that have gone through they've gone through 8 weeks of the program right now. And they're, excited to present to you, all of their startups today. And basically, we're going to do, every company here is going to have, every company here is going to have a 5 to 10 minute presentation, followed by Q&A and, Q&A and feedback from our featured judges. So excited to have our 3 judges here today are our 3 judges here today, Doug Zingale, Jaden Bryden, and Gayatri, let me feature you guys, Gayatri Sarkar. I'm gonna pin all 3 of you up at the top here so everyone can see you as featured judges and panelists here. And we're gonna go through all 7 of our startups. They're gonna give, where did Doug go here?
I see myself,
they're gonna give,
Jason. I'm in the upper left. You see me?
I see you now.
All right.
So they're all gonna give their presentations today. We're gonna start, the first presentation is gonna be Tano Lopez from Caira. And and so they're all gonna start, our judges are gonna kick off, basically, this isn't judging in terms of one startup being better than the other. It's basically kicking off the feedback and Q&A. And really excited. We have, actually, if the 3 of you want to kick us off with quick introductions, let's start with Gayatri, and then Jaden, and then Doug. And then we can jump into our first presentation here. And we'll also keep it, we'll keep the chat active as well for any questions and any feedback, or you can introduce yourself in the chat as well throughout the session today. But yeah, Gayatri, we'd love to have you open up with a quick introduction.
Okay, so glad to be here. So I definitely want to thank Steve because he literally, followed me on Twitter. It's like, Gayatri, you need to join this. And I'm so glad that I said yes and be a part of Boston Cohort. I'm always there outside Boston, but not much doing inside Boston. So super glad to be a part of this. I'm a founder of a growth fund called Beta Capital, and also founder of SheVC, which is a podcast focused on diverse GPs and LPs. My background is I'm a former Hewlett Packard Labs, IBM, Goldman Sachs. I worked at Federal Reserve Bank of Boston. I used to manage US Treasuries assets for US military and Navy. Had traveled the founder's path, had a very successful business, Boston Consulting Solutions, and I had a failed tech startup, Career Karma, which I did with a bunch of my Harvard schoolmates. So I'm so glad to be here, and I can totally understand your pain, all the founders. Just keep going, and I'm just super excited to hear everybody's pitch.
Amazing. And Jaden, we'd love to have you give a quick intro as well.
Sounds good. Hi, everyone. I am currently in the car, so I'm not driving though. I will have my audio off though, but great to be here. My name is Jaden Bryden, and I am an early stage venture capitalist with X Fund, which is based in both Cambridge and Palo Alto. I'm based in the Cambridge office. And so my day-to-day is working with founders and investing. We're investing out of our 3rd fund right now. In computers, or in consumer tech, digital health, and then enterprise software. Those are kind of the 3 main industries that I focus on. So looking forward to kind of hearing what you guys have.
Perfect. Yeah, great to have you here as well. And Doug, would love to hear from you too.
So I'll just touch very quickly on what I'm doing right now. I have a fund that's investing in the US and the EU. My partner is based in Madrid. We invest in machine learning, artificial intelligence, and early stage healthcare across pharma and device and digital. And in a few angel groups, 2 connected MIT, advising 3 funds, 1 in San Francisco, 1 in Kiev, and 1 in Tallinn. So I'm spending a lot of time with Eastern Europe. And I'm part of the Pan-European EIT Health Program and CIMIT, which is really Boston-based. And in old days, I was GM for strategic partnerships at Microsoft. I was an analyst at Bain about 1 million years ago. And if you want to know more, glance at the LinkedIn. I'm old enough, so that's got a lot of stuff in it.
Appreciate that. And yeah, that's actually a good point too. If anybody wants to share their LinkedIns or introduce themselves in the chat, we have a lot of great attendees and panelists on board. So definitely, yeah, share some quick intros in the chat as we get started here. And yeah, so our first presenter today is going to be Tano Lopez with Caira. And Tano, if you want to share your screen, then yeah, excited for your presentation here. And yeah, you can.
Thank you. Thank you.
Talk.
Good to know your partner is in Madrid, Doug. I'm in Madrid too right now. So,
that's where my partner is
always welcome
for the time.
Always welcome to my city, all of you.
Very nice city.
Yeah, thank you. Should I kick it, Jason?
Go for it.
So we all know the world of education has been changing for the last years, but now this change is more evident than ever. The new world in education racing after the pandemic is full of changes and uncertainty. And I'm going to talk about some of those issues right now. First of all, the main change that I've seen after 9 years in EdTech and in education building startups is the change in the decision-making of how students and institutions connect. The loss of authority of these institutions and universities as they get disconnected from the students in terms of their message. So in this new era, institutions face more and more competition. So they have to pay higher acquisition costs to gain students. They have to go into more and more platforms in order to be seen or in order to give their scholarships and to be known. They are disconnected, as we said before, from students because they don't share normally the same platforms. They are not very digital. They are becoming more and more digital. The market of the traditional university is going down as we see new models arise like online education, and they are not adapting as quick as they should to these new models. On the other hand, students have an increase in offer, as we were saying. Now you can study zillions of different things online in traditional universities and whatnot. They don't believe in traditional advertising. They use new media. Their authority is peer-to-peer. They are more eager to know something from an influencer or from a friend than from a proper university. And they doubt the need of going to college. They think that maybe they can learn something in a 6-month course or in a different way than spending 4, 5, 6 years in college. So in order to address all these issues, we built Caira. I'm the CEO. My name is Tano Lopez. I'm CEO and founder of Caira. And this is how Caira works. So for students, we've built a test called the Caira method, where we discover the skills of the future and we help the student decide what or where he can study. We build a profile online where he or she creates this personal profile with documentation related with his academic journey and the results of these tests. We include him in our network so he can connect with our students and potential institutions to study there. In these consulting ways, the student receives content and interacts with alumni and proper salesmen from each institution. And finally, the student can decide which institution of the Caira network best suits his needs, and he can start a new academic journey. This is based on the data that we know that 79% of students globally is uncertain about their academic future of what or where to study. On the other hand, Caira for Institutions is also a profile, a complete self-manageable profile with employee registration. So the university or academic institution can handle different profiles. They can give the offers of programs, courses, opportunities, scholarships to attract new students. We give them a marketplace, a place to interact with the creation of exclusive content such as webinars, trainings to attract these new clients. We help with the recruitment. We interact with the future students, and institutions can use their students and alumni as an example to attract new talent. And therefore, the university grows, getting students from all over the world and managing them easily in the Caira funnel. So our user persona is an educational institution, and we tell them all the time, your cost of acquisition is going up, and we are going to help you build your profile in Caira so you can attract new talent. Our MVP is ready to go. Today, I will not give you a full disclosure on what are all the features of the product, but we can surely talk about that, everyone who wants. But some of the features include artificial intelligence. So our own algorithm relates the content that we give every student in a personal way. Our profiles and how they're managed and done is completely done by us. The social network also is developed from scratch by us. The interactions that occur are classic UX, like share content, like, comment, add friend, etc. So the UX is super friendly. The CRM is built on Salesforce, so every university knows how to use it. We rely on the peer-to-peer authority, so we relate content built by other students and other influencers of the university. So UGC stands for user-generated content, and of course, from all these conversations, sales naturally occur. So we like to think of ourselves like a kind of LinkedIn for international education. Our potential clients include online education, language courses, summer courses, non-regulated trainings, and of course, traditional universities. So they can all compete and relate in the same network, giving the student also the opportunity to think about what can be the best academic fit. The student market, as you all know, is enormous. More than 135 million students get into the market every year. So that's what I love about education. Every year, the market moves forward, getting a lot of new clients into the system. More than 100 million people already choose to study online, and this number is growing exponentially. And as for numbers of before the pandemic, 6 million students every year choose to change countries to do some kind of academic journey. How is our business model? We decided to give a free platform for students and a free platform for universities. So that's why our acquisition cost of both parts is really easy. We work on success, so we charge commission once the university makes a sale. So we put together the best of a SaaS marketplace with a B2B model. And of course, we have upsales and cross sales, like, for example, language courses, plane tickets if you have to go to another country, advisory, etc. The competitors are all over the place, and this is a huge market and growing. We could divide them into traditional agencies, like the one I had 9 years ago, where you charge the student and give him the advisory. More and more online solutions in this database search model that we want to eliminate to go into this kind of interactive platform. Key differences, as I said before, we are building a community, we use IA, our business model is not B2C or not B2B, but peer-to-peer to B. So we interact between different profiles, and at the end of the funnel, institution that makes a sale is who pays. We are 100% transparent, and we are very, very scalable, as we are based 100% on technology. We are not a search engine, we are a connector. We founded the company February 2020, before the end of the world. We were raising 350K, managed to get 120 the first week. That was awesome because we had some money during the pandemic to actually design the prototype, which we were doing the summer 1 year ago. After we reactivated the fund and the funding, at the beginning of this year, end of last year, we managed to have more than 250K in this seed round that is already inside the company. Our MVP is online. We started testing all of our social network, branding, etc. is already in the market. And now, as for last month, we started to sign the first clients and to develop the platform with real users. Here you can see some of our clients that we've already signed. You can see some of our numbers. Our CPL is really, really low. This is some paid media campaign that we did with Fleet, which is the company before Caira. In our network, direct on contact, more than 80 universities worldwide, potential reach to more than 1,000 with our network of partners. Our CPA versus lifetime value is super, super, super small, especially in students. And in our network also, we are eager to access more than 10,000 students. As the team, I'm Tano Lopez, double major in marketing and sales in Spain and USA. My co-founder is Julio Vidal Rivas, is an international fund manager, senior, he acts as CFO. We have Javier in design, Alex in psychology, data and algorithms, David in brand and media, and Jose is our CTO. A panel of advisors, really interesting people, and Greenberg for Apple, Pablo Langa from Medite Partners, Joe at Start USA, Xena PhD in artificial intelligence. I worked at Banco Santander as an advisor. We have access to the Santander Universities network. I did the NYU Tech Accelerator called Started in 2018, which was an awesome experience. And also working with Start USA and EDT Partners to develop our network. Our predictions, we want to be in 2024 over the 5,000 users. This means approximately our average ticket is of $1,000 euros per sale. So we want to cross the 5 million in revenue, plus the upsales and cross sales, which make up to 10-20% of our revenue. Looking into the future, we want to build a platform that can distribute scholarship money. We can use blockchain for security, more profiles like teachers, parents, access to job market, foundation to help students gain funds for scholarships. And we are already building our own content that we sell through Caira. This is the seed round I was talking about. The pre-money valuation, $1.8 million. We were trying to get between 3.5, 400K. Until now, 280 already in founding. So that's the number that we're missing to close the round. And that's the approximate percentage that we're offering. A use of funds, now with the MVP already online, our main focus will be on marketing and attraction of both students and institutions. The cap table, very important that the founders maintain control until Series A. That's why we're preparing for VC, preparing for the VC round, hopefully when we close this one, probably at the end of this year. And a possible exit strategy that we think of all the time. We develop our backend and everything in Salesforce because, as you know, they're acquiring a lot in education. Here's a snapshot of their strategy in education cloud for higher ed. And as you can see at the left, we meet all the requirements and all the kind of stuff that we're focused on in education. So that's all for today. Thank you all for listening. Eager to listen some questions and from all the Caira team. Thank you.
Yeah, great job, Tano. Yeah, really enjoyed your presentation, and looks from the chat like the audience did as well. So we're just going to turn it over to the featured judges here. Let's start with, or I guess, yeah, for this one, and we can rotate after each presentation. Let's start with Gayatri. Any feedback or questions you have, feel free to kick it off here. Oh, you're muted.
Oh, sure. Great presentation. First of all, I want to congratulate you on your deck because I know how difficult it is to keep it simple. And I love how you have used data and analysis, especially like, this is my CPA versus LTV. I really found founders are still like understanding and struggling in putting all those metrics and try to tell everything in the story. I do not know much about the space that you guys are, expanding, but I think this is a great opportunity in what you're doing. One of the things I would love to know from you is like, if you can talk about a little bit more about your team, what you have done together, that will also give a little bit more background about, how you guys have worked together before and how you guys are looking forward to the vision and the future.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you a lot for your words, Gayatri. Well, Eusebio is my CFO. He was my first investor and partner in my second EdTech venture. So this started 9 years ago with Ibeca Sport. When I came back from the US, I started doing consulting B2C to students. Then I founded Fleet, which actually was the company where I went to the NYU Accelerator and TechStars Accelerator in Berkeley. We maintained the B2C model, and we pivoted to the B2B model in 2020, creating Caira. So that's where the rebranding comes from. In terms of the team, the really important part here is Alex. Alex is a psychologist. I was working with him since 2019 because I was starting to think about the development of an intelligence that could fit students with universities, like an algorithm, and he's the profiling of students and skills of the future. So I gave a TED talk on this issue called The Future of Education and the Future of Work, which you can find in YouTube, by the way, although it's in Spanish. And Alex was the one making the TED talk at the university. So that's where we met. And that's where we started to, we should build a platform for actually students could find a place to know what they can study, where they can study, the real opportunities out there, and not just going to, here in Spain, normally you go to the university that's closer to your house and you miss the real opportunities out there. So that's the two main partners of the project. I would say Eusebio since the beginning, and the part of CFO, he brought in two very large investors and taking care of the numbers. And Alex in the part of intelligence, and we've been working for 2 years now in the development of this algorithm and this intelligence.
Great job. I don't want to take more time, but I'd say that when you are pitching the investors, not like the demo session, but more like when you're pitching in person or via through Zoom, one-on-one interaction, tell the story first, because we know we all are big suckers for storytelling. And I think that kind of also helps in bonding with the investors, and investors see that how the conviction, and you're a serial entrepreneur, and that reflects on your deck also. So great job. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the feedback.
Yeah, great feedback and questions, and love the story there, Tano. Yeah, Jaden, I'd love to hear any feedback or questions from you as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely want to echo some of the comments that were said. It would be great to kind of hear about the team early on, so I know like what's the why this team for this problem. That would be really cool to learn up front. And then I would also love to just have you dig in a little bit more on the competition. I was definitely really interested in what the competitive landscape looks like in terms of like what's your defensibility, what stops those other companies from like seeing what you're doing, kind of like adding that on. Who are you most concerned about? So yeah, that's what I would want to dive in more on.
Perfect.
Yeah. Well, just a comment on competition. I think that it's important to know just two things. Most of the recruitment is still done traditionally by agents. So still, like I would say 50-60% is done by companies which are on the B2C model, charging students for the advisory and for the consulting in order to get to this or that university. And the digital part of competition will go to these macro databases where you can actually filter between thousands of universities, programs, and the student will face the decision by himself. So that's the part that we're trying to bring on all this social network and peer-to-peer bonding. So actually the student is not alone in the moment of making this decision versus a database with 80 filters like you can see in all these companies.
Got it. That makes sense. Awesome. Well, great presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Aiden.
Yeah, great job. And yeah, Doug, would love to hear your thoughts as well.
So first thing, I like Jaden, competitive landscape I think is important. Well, it always is important. It certainly is going to be here, given the kind of product you're talking about building. The value proposition taken as a whole, I think, seems strong, but competition is going to come, and it's not going to be as simple as it may look now. When I think about education, and it's also not a space I spend much time in, but at a distance, when I think about it broadly, I think of two things. One is the challenge of certification programs, which I think more and more, whether it's Google or the many other startups, Code Academy, et cetera, there's going to be a strong value proposition there that's going to be asserted as a challenge to everything you're trying to facilitate. because I think the return on investment of liberal arts education is under stress. And that's a problem that's going to affect any business like yours and the customers that you want to sell to. I didn't hear anything, and I'm always interested in, you know, things like, if you raise this much money, what runway does it give you? What milestones do you expect to be able to drive toward? And how much runway do you have left when you finally get to those? And what does your next round look like? Because if the pieces, you know, if the answers in those categories aren't really persuasive, you're, at least from people like me, you're not going to raise money, and you will have damaged your credibility. So, you know, choosing what to cover in a very short pitch like this, that's difficult. But I would say, if it were me, I would have had one slide anyway, hitting these metrics of runway and next round and milestones. And the only other thing, and these are really comments, not questions, as you can tell, when you had the commission at 10 to 20%, I was thinking, of what? Because if it was 10 to 20% of the cost of a liberal arts education, well, that's not going to work. And I think I heard the number of like $1,000 per sale. So it would have been helpful when you're talking about commission to give some indication of what that very high percentage is applied to. And it might make sense to, you know, make a different comparison and drive that percentage much lower. So those are my comments.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's a 10-20% on the first year tuition when it's a multi-year program, and 10-20% in the whole sale if it's a short program like a language.
Those numbers obviously don't make sense here in the States because, you know, average liberal arts education is more like 60 or 70,000 a year.
Yeah,
public universities are different. So you're obviously focused on another market.
No, I actually, most of my clients are actually in the US. That's what I work with.
Fleet you're going to charge 10 to 20% of the first year? And tuition, how does that relate to the number 1,000? Because what we normally do is we get scholarships. So our students don't pay 50 to 60,000. This number is taken off what we did with Fleet, which was mainly focused on athletic scholarships. So universities that charged 50, 60K, we normally get them like a 50 to 60% scholarship. So our medium payment of the first year tuition was more around 15 to 25K. And that's where we get the 10 to 20% tuition. That's where we get the 1.5, 2,000 per client commission. That's an interesting thing you're trying to do here. I wish you good luck with it.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, once again, great job. Great feedback, everyone. And yeah, so we'll also be posting the link again. And, you know, feel free to contact Tano through our community platform or put it in our survey form we're sending out. But yeah, great job, and excited to bring up our next presenters, Natalie and Silvana. And yeah, excited for your presentations here. So yeah, Natalie or Silvana, if one of you want to share your screen, and excited for you guys to kick off the presentation on Darshana.
Absolutely, Jason. Can you guys hear me well?
Yeah, we can.
Absolutely, so, yes. I'll be sharing my screen. Just give me 1 second. Okay. Okay, can you guys see my screen now?
Perfect.
Okay, thank you everybody for being here today. My name is Silvana. I'm the co-founder and I'm a board member of Darshana. So I want you guys to imagine yourself for a minute out of this Zoom and picture yourself in a really annoying situation. I want you guys to imagine yourselves trying to get noticed by your favorite singer at a concert, or trying to stand out in a crowd of 50 people, or waiting endlessly on a line of 60 people for your turn to getting noticed for a job posting, which, by the way, you will get paid days or weeks later, long after you were finished, just to make ends meet. This is the real pain of real tech gig economy workers every day. I'm proud to introduce you to Darshana, where tech talent gets the spotlight. So Darshana is a decentralized data-driven platform that connects tech talent with job opportunities. And here's what we solve. We solve the current conditions set by existing platforms. It is extremely difficult to get connected to job posting. Actually, the ratio is of 60 people per job posting, even more if you're a newbie or someone without any experience. So no experience, not a chance to get connected to that job posting. There's also delayed payment. And there's also, to make things worse, high intermediation fees. So our solution consists on a decentralized platform that gets jobs for our gig economy tech workers. We procure fair and smooth payment procedures through our smart contracts. And we also facilitate peer-to-peer interaction, which brings cross-pollinations of skills and connects companies with scarce tech talent. And I'm gonna hand this over to Natalie, which is gonna dwell a little bit more into our tech-enabled solution. Natalie?
I am Natalie. Also, we are today with Alejandra Cortes, our CPO, Chief Product Officer. So let me shift gears a little bit to the tech-enabled solution here. You can see that we have several components of Web 3.0. The idea here is to have this peer-to-peer aiming for a community we're putting together, really to be decentralized, to have all the incentives aligned based on blockchain, decentralized front end data as well, and also we are pretty sure that there's some things that are going on in terms of privacy and security. We are very aware of what we need to do in terms of having everything user-centric, having this decentralization, having tokenization of the efforts of people among the community and the platform and the peer-to-peer interaction, but also being very aware of what we need to deliver in terms of having everybody secure and everybody getting the value that they need. Can you move forward, please, Silvana? So in terms of market size, right now, gig economy is around $4.5 trillion. This is our potential total addressable market. But just narrowing down to the human cloud, which is where freelance or workers in general are looking for jobs online, it's around 150 billion. And 5 of those billion right now are covered by the top human cloud marketplaces. And there's a lot of room to improve here in terms of the offerings. So that's what we're bringing this together, as Silvana mentioned, in terms of the spotlight. We have several sources talking about this. Next, please. So for what is important here is that, right now with the pandemic and everything, there's more willingness, not only for workers, but also for companies to look for talent online, regardless of the location and everything. So it's important for us also, as I mentioned, 2 of the top 5 players here, Fiverr, Upwork, they have number of active buyers, 3.42 million. And Upwork, the revenue that they had in 2020, not only because of the pandemic, but they were already, on a growing set of revenue streams. So there's a lot of needed, not only from the company side, but also from the worker side to look for jobs on an on-demand digital platform. Next, please. We have a product here that, as you see, on the back, there's a lot of magic going on the decentralization, tokenization, incentives, but also, having a first layer of a community, right? So we have, of course, technology. We have, of course, participants, ambassadors that really are going to generate those safe spaces for this collaboration. Also to measure that and to get these incentives with tokenization. And of course, having this diverse set of tech talent, because we are also, diverse. So it's important for us to give back in these terms. We were, as Silvana mentioned at the very beginning, raising our hand and looking for opportunities. And we really broke the glass ceiling, but it's important for us to open the path for all people. So that's why we're putting this together. Next, please. This is pretty simple for us to search the talent, review the skills, and then go and hire it. The promise of having this empowerment, decentralization, and also fixing some of the things that our current platforms may have, like I'm holding your payment for longer time because I need to make by the end of the month, whatever I need to earn. So this is important to have people on this transparency. That's a part of our value proposition, and to have people adopting this platform. Next, please. So in this particular case, right now, we're aiming to make money. We're focused right now on one-time users to get them sick to the platform. And the important here is to reach that diverse talent that are not highlighted again, but also have this partnership with the diverse communities that we already have. We pivoted from a previous initiative that was based on blockchain. The name was the Blockchain Challenge. We ran hackathon challenges and other partnerships with several companies from around the world, tech companies, banks, and a lot of other companies. So the idea was here to really highlight that talent that was working on blockchain. We reached already 33 countries. We have a longer list of people really asking for this type of stuff and the space to do this. So that's what we found, that it's a market that is not covered yet. Next, please. So in terms of scalability right now, even if we have contacts all over the world, we started in Latin America. We're closing some partnerships as we speak, and some others we already closed, and I'm going to talk about that right away. But the idea is also to launch in a number of other places. There's some things that we found in the personas we identified that are really very, even from around the world, but also there's some things that needs in terms of content and other things that we want to share for specific topics. So we were just putting together something to reach these people, not only the ones that we already have on our databases, but the ones that we want to reach with similar profiles. And just click one more, and you'll see a little bit of the partnerships we're doing right now. Probably you can identify Latinity. It's a sister initiative we have. This is the largest Latin American Women in Technology conference, shaped and sponsored by Anita Borg Institute, the largest Women in Technology conference in the world. So, and then we have other partnerships with other companies in Latin America right now. And Talent Land this year, it's aiming to get 2 million people in this event. And this is about talent. And we have a partnership with them. Why? Because, we've been really aligned with them for a couple of years already. And, this is a type of event that they have this huge thing in Mexico, 30 people camping outside, doing a lot of events, 500 hours of content. And, so we're really reaching the partnerships we had before and the ones that keep giving value to this initiative. Next, please. So in terms of the competitive advantage, you can see this pattern, probably you're familiar with this, but the important here thing is the diversity of the user profiles. That's very important for the companies, and also very important for the users themselves, because they're going to be doing peer-to-peer interaction. And the value for the users, of course, we're focused on the workers, but as helping the workers to get better and better, we are also helping the companies to find better talent. So in this particular quadrant, we position ourselves on the top because of the value proposition. And there's a number of things that, in terms of collaboration and a number of other things on the retention invoice, they're no longer a differentiator, but we want to put together something that is even better than what's offered right now on the platforms. Next, please. So just to close, it's important to think about diversity. Independent workforce is diverse. People looking for jobs is diverse. We are very diverse. And not only because, you see 3 women here, but, we come from different backgrounds. I'm gonna talk about that. And we have really different opinions about a number of things, but we are really focusing to this, to build this together. In terms of satisfaction as well, we need to create this, to build this rapport and to build this credibility on what we really deliver in value. It's very important for us to have this data-driven platform. We've been working and delivering a lot of things in the past around data. And then, as I mentioned, is DLT, distributed ledger technology enabled. Next, please. We can close. The team, as you see, is very diverse. We have first lineup of Latinas, graduated from best universities, but really it's like we're getting things done from a number of years and making dreams true for other people. Can you go next, please? The important thing is that we have product, we have marketing, we have a chief economist also working on the incentives. That's for us the core of everything. It's not only about technology, it's not only about technology, it's community, but it's also about putting together something that adds value in terms of everybody is empowered in this platform. Everybody gets the incentives they want. Next, please. We also have experts, of course, as advisors in talent and distributed ledger and Web3O that or initiatives that are already running and successful. Next, please. So in terms of funding, right now we've been doing very careful, analysis in terms of our runway, what we need, what we don't need right now, and prioritize. So we're looking for 580K to launch and sustain growth right now. Half of that on product development, the rest marketing and sales, and putting together a super strong core team to help us build this. Next, and that's all that I have. Again, we are Darshana. Right now we have Silvana, Alejandra, and myself presenting. Open to any questions. Thank you so much for being here today.
Yeah, great job.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, really good job in presentation. And yeah, let's start with Jaden. Any feedback and questions you have for Natalie and Silvana?
Sounds good. Great presentation. I am curious to know what you kind of see as the reason that companies like Fiverr and Upwork have that low number of like people actually getting hired. So I think it was like 6%. Why do you think that is? And how on your guys' list of like kind of the value proposition and what you're bringing, there was like the ability to have a trusted network and the diverse pool of applicants and all that stuff. And the data-driven approach, how is that going to be different from Fiverr and Upwork? And like, how can it be stronger right out of the gate? Like, how do you kind of plan to kind of go to market from starting from nothing and building up that brand?
You want to go on the value and go to market, Silvana?
Yes. Okay. So here's the thing. It's how the system is built from the start with Upwork. So it's a kind of a problem with the chicken and the egg, right? How do you crack that problem, which is so usual with this? And the thing is, one of our value proposition is exactly the peer-to-peer interaction, and that helps. It sounds simple, but we have to give it a lot of thought to come to this solution, because one of the things we identified is the main pain is people without any experience have no chance at a platform like Upwork, because nobody will hire them because they have no proven experience. That's the problem. Nobody wants them. So there's a huge base of people with a huge amount of talent, but with no experience to validate that talent. So they won't, get into that carousel. That's the main problem. So you have this huge base of talent, while on the other hand, there's a huge scarcity of tech talent. And how do you crack that code? So we figured, why don't we try peer-to-peer interaction? Let's make the ecosystem validate itself and make that huge base that's underlying there by that validation, so it can come to the surface and get hired and get jobs. So that's, this is a very a huge like an overview to our model, but there's a lot behind it, and there's a lot of science to it. That's why we are decentralized, and that's why we use tokenization behind it, because there has to be a solid base to this all. But the bottom line is nobody wants to hire these people because they have no proven experience. And the way to do that is using the ecosystem within itself to crack that code and to bring all this talent, which is underlying, into the surface to tackle that scarcity that companies actually, that's a pain that the companies have. There's a tech talent scarcity. Companies need that talent and it's there. There's just nobody that validates them. And peer-to-peer interaction is a way to do that. Natalie, you want to go ahead?
Yeah, so to answer the go-to-market, I have a profile on Upwork, I think, yes, and nobody's pinging me, and it's there. And I have a lot of experience I'm a technical architect, very good, very experienced. It's not that I'm not good. I think I consider myself good at that, but it's not like I don't have any rating there, right? So, and LinkedIn, yeah, I have another reputation on the new platform now. So in terms of go-to-market, I think this is critical because we're looking where nobody else is looking, right? It's very difficult to have people on board that there's a lot of people with great talent that they don't know this platform exists. Yeah, they know they are there, but they don't, should I go there or no? I mentioned, right, this event in Mexico, there's a lot of people really getting to know what's going on. And there's millions of them and they're just looking for opportunities, right? So just let me tell one story, short. I ran this conference, as I mentioned, Women in Technology. There's people getting to know about these diversity initiatives for the very first time. How many we get every time we launch a conference? Thousands. So there's a lot of, not now, probably right now there's more language about that, but about those opportunities. But, in terms of go-to-market, we have access to these diverse communities and everything, and they're just eager to, I don't want to move, I want to work from home. I have family, I have everything, there's a lot of opportunity there. So, picking these communities and having them on board and start working with them peer-to-peer, that's the way we want to start reaching, because we already have a base of thousands there. We won't start from scratch, right? But also reaching other points and then making the community strong.
Yeah, no, great. Great response and great questions there. And yeah, Doug, we'd love to hear your feedback and questions on this as well.
Okay, so this one, in my mind, has a lot of similarities in a couple of dimensions to the last one, in that the value proposition is clear and strong, but the how you succeed is not so easy. Marketplaces are almost always a good idea until they're overcrowded. Marketplaces inherently have network effects, which is why if it's already overcrowded, that's a problem. And if it's not overcrowded, they typically end up being a race to scale. And so, because the technology to build this kind of thing is everywhere, that's not a competitive moat. Sometimes, the way you manage your particular appeal to a group of people, that can be helpful if other people don't get onto the same idea. But fundamentally, it's a race to scale, and therefore marketing, partnerships, and fundraising are absolutely critical. So I guess I'm curious, when you think of how you race ahead and therefore create a competitive moat not based on technology and fend off competition, what are the thoughts that first occur to you for how you do that here?
Sure. Can I go, Silvana? Alejandra? Okay. So the thing is that, I completely agree. Those platforms are commodities right now. The differentiator should be, of course, this transparent side, which, you can add with DLT or no, you can do a number of things on the technology side. But the other thing is that, I think I mentioned around community, of course, we need to have internally community managers, but at some point that will be scalable, right? So we have people pushing here, the relationships and everything. So that's where, putting together AI, that's a blanket statement, but also having these interactions automated at some point, then start to learn really what's going on, and then push that in order to get the value what we're looking for. And the scale we won't be able to scale. We have agents or ambassadors or whatever you want to call them to push the community, but also to find those underlying, let's say, mapping the things that are value, start putting that some intelligence, and then, we're going to the next level and to the next level, to the next level. The thing is also that we don't want to be, let's say, more of facilitators rather than intermediaries. The value proposition around, Uber, if I need a drive and there's a driver, we get, I pay more and the driver gets paid more, but who's winning there? Uber, always, right? We want to distribute that those incentives, because that's the base of the decentralization and all around distributed ledgers and blockchain. So that value proposition, I think the combination of both that scale, the AI part and algorithms or whatever we want to put, that's something that is not plain vanilla. That's a differentiator. The other thing about transparency, I think that's another part we want to really enhance. Sometimes it's not super easy to explain, but it's something that we want to push as a value proposition. Hopefully that answers the question.
Yeah, thank you.
No, perfect response there. And yeah, Gayatri, would love to hear your thoughts and questions too.
Yeah, so first of all, congratulations. I would love to know like the meaning of the name Darshana and how did you decide to come up with that name?
I'd love to answer that question to you. I actually used to go to India a lot before COVID happened. And I was traveling a lot to India by the time. And I was actually delivering a lot of conference on the future of work. And I was a lot into that because I was working closely with the ORF, which is one of India's think tank. And it came to my mind, Darshana, I saw it. I don't remember specifically where, but I thought like, this is how I want to name, it's Hindi for vision. So I'm like, this is the name of my future baby, which is my startup. So I just fell in love with it. And the name came up in India, actually, where I was at the time. Yes.
Right. Yeah, I'm an Indian origin person. So I immediately picked it up and I was like, who is the Indian person in the team who came up with the name? But none. So congratulations on building a great startup. I was actually, my second startup was actually based on a similar space. So I know a little bit about the space. One of the things I would love to understand, and I think this is where Doug and Jaden kind of, talked about it, is the value proposition. You're at a very, very crowded space. And it's like, how fast do you separate yourself and say that, hey, we are the leader, we are better. So I will let you guys figure that out. But at the same time, I would love to know that if you want to be the thought leader in this space, you want to be the revenue driver in this space, what have you done till now in order to bring those diverse talents or the diverse partnerships on your platform? Because diversity, as you know, it's a very competitive advantage and it can literally drive a lot of companies towards your platform. But what have you done till now?
Natalie, do you want to go with this based on your Latinity experience?
Yes. So, we've been, particularly myself and Silvana and Alejandra and Carlos, Yvette, everybody, we've been working a long time on diversity initiatives. So we know where there's under, let's say, represented and also under, not well informed about the opportunities people are. We don't have enough hands to do it in a volunteer way, right? As I mentioned, I ran this conference for already 7 years for women in technology in Latin America. People are aiming to go back to the conference. We were supposed to have it back in Buenos Aires last year, not because of COVID, but so the important thing here is that we have access to these communities that they're already doing a number of things. So it's not like, okay, we're gonna get to them and then giving this magic, to unlock what they're looking for. But this is just having that, layer where I'm not saying, okay, go to LinkedIn, start posting, then probably in a year, you're gonna have a reputation and you're gonna get called, or go to Upwork, I'm gonna help you. Let's just have that. And this is something I really want to reinforce, a safe space where you can work together to get there. Because there's some other places that are not really like that. And I face that too. So, and I've been there and okay, whatever. And, let's just move forward. But it's like that. It's not about protecting people. It's about putting people in a safe space and then, releasing them to the real world. And then you find these opportunities, break the glass ceilings, break the walls, break everything. But it's more about that and finding those.
I really like that response there of creating a safe space. And we do have to keep going here, but I think, that culture fit of, where you can differentiate and stand out in the market. Love the feedback and both of your responses on everything here. So great job with the presentation. And then again, everybody, we updated the forum in the chat for anybody that wants to connect afterwards as well. But great job there. And excited to bring up Kristiyan for our next presentation on Relleno.
Hello, can you hear me well?
Yeah, we can. If you want to share your screen and kick things off.
Sharing. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
We can.
Okay. Hello, my name is Kristiyan Luzanov, CEO and co-founder of Reno.
Oh, you went on mute.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you now.
Sorry, I will start from scratch. Okay. Hello, my name is Kristiyan Luzanov, CEO and co-founder of Reno. What we are doing is disrupting the commercial real estate lending. Our target market size is 600 billion, which is the value of the commercial mortgages. The entire commercial real estate value is around 15 trillions. Unfortunately, big markets have big problems. In commercial real estate space, it takes 90 days to close a loan. The average loan cost is around $5,000. Last but not least, borrower equity is locked until the loan is repaid in full. We solve all issues with our innovative lending product. First, we are tokenizing the property. After that, we could provide a fractional, instant, paperless loan. Let me give you an example of our lending solution. I will use John with his 10 million property in Nevada. John already tokenizes the asset with Reno. Now, let's imagine that he wants to benefit from a fractional, instant, and paperless loan. John needs to log into Reno's platform and simply choose what ratio between LTV and interest he wants. As a next step, he needs to choose how to receive the money. In the next few days, the money will hit John's bank account. As simple as that. Cool, right? Reno in lending numbers. We have 13 loans in our pipeline, and currently we're underwriting the first 2 of them. Our expectation is to close loans for 100 million in the next 12 months. In order to keep the risk small, we're choosing different property types in different geographical locations. About the liquidity sources, we're talking with the traditional institutions, of course, like banks and insurance companies and hedge funds. Currently, we're under due diligence by 2 organizations. However, the most important is that we already secured our first liquidity source with MakerDAO. Reno's main competitors are banks and other mortgage lenders. As I said, they are very slow, inefficient, expensive, and requires a lot of paperwork. And on the top of everything, they are not working with tokenized assets as we do. When we're talking about the customer acquisition, excuse me, we have 3 main channels. We have a sales department with 20+ salespersons all over the world. Also, we are trying to attend all possible real estate online and offline events. And last but not least, we are using affiliate and social media like LinkedIn and Twitter. Reno in numbers, we have 4 revenue streams: upfront lending fee, interest, brokerage fee, and tokenization fee. We have a financial projection for 3 years after the fundraise. On the first year, we expect profit before taxes around 800,000. Second year, we expect profit before taxes around 1,800,000. And third year, we expect profit before taxes around $2 million. Some of our achievements so far: we have a traction with 7 successfully tokenized deals worth more than $350 million. Also, we are a regional winner of Startup World Cup organized by Pegasus Tech Ventures. We're waiting for the finals this year. What are our goals? We want to secure 1 more liquidity provider by the end of the year. This is the aim number 1. Also, we aim to close the first loan in Q3 this year. Last but not least, we want to attract more registered users, and our aim is to have more than 100,000 registered users by the end of the year. Let me introduce part of the core team. Victor Viktorov is our CEO. He has more than 12 years experience in the different domains. His previous company, he managed to bootstrap the biggest online sporting goods retailer in Eastern Europe. Kristiyan is our CDO. He has 10 years experience in banking and data science. Natalia is our Chief Marketing Officer, and me, I also have entrepreneurial experience with software development company, plus deep IT background in the big companies like Hewlett-Packard. We have more and more key partnerships. Some of them are with MakerDAO, BCA Asset Management, Nord Capital, ADAX, and last but not least, our legal team is Cool Blockchain Law. So far, we invested more than 1 million own money, and now we are ready for an equity round of $5 million. Thank you very much for your time and attention.
Yeah, excellent job. Yeah, great presentation there. And let's kick off with Doug's questions and feedback.
Sure.
You did say Doug, Jason, is that right?
Hey, Doug, yeah.
Okay, all right. So real estate finance is a very complicated subject generally, you know, when you look at the market as a whole. And so I don't feel like I, from this presentation, got enough understanding. I heard a lot of buzzwords, and those are going to attract listeners, but I wasn't able to discern so far exactly what you're doing and how you're doing it. It's, of course, a huge market, and if you are delivering an important value proposition, you'll be able to scale this and grow very quickly. But I can't tell behind the buzzwords what the value proposition is. That said, it sounds interesting enough that I will connect with you and see if I can push you in the direction of real experts in the field, which I am not.
Okay,
So
great.
Those are my comments.
Appreciate the feedback there, and yeah, and the offer to help. Yeah, Gayatri, would love to hear your thoughts on it.
Yeah, so this is a very hot space, prop tech right now. One of the things I did not understand is that what have you done on the traction side? You know, what have you done till now to gain where you are, where you want to be? I think that's one of the key things that is missing. So if you can talk a little bit about that, that would be good.
Yeah, sure. First, just to mention that we're considering ourselves more than a fintech than a prop tech, but however, it's not so important. So our traction, we already tokenized seven deals, 7 buildings and or assets, and currently we have a pipeline with 13 loans waiting for us to underwrite. Where our lawyers currently working on the first 2, but the process, because we're kind of pioneers of what we are doing, is not so fast, and we expect to finalize them probably by the end of this month or early in the next month to finalize the first 2 loans. So this is our traction so far. And also we have a marketplace, but because we are mainly a lender and the marketplace is not our main focus, we have a marketplace for already tokenized real estate. And there we also have a pretty nice traction. Investors are buying a fractional commercial real estate from our platform. Is it more clear
Perfect.
now?
Yeah, great. Oh, great response there.
Thanks.
And yeah, Jaden, I'd love to hear any questions or feedback as well.
Yeah, so I'm curious to know kind of like a timeline of like when you guys started and what milestones you accomplished with the first $1 million that you said it was self-funded. And then what is the goal for the money that you're wanting to raise? What's the runway on that? Yeah, I was just, because you had your ask at the end, but would love to like find out more about what that specifically entails.
Yeah, sure. So we invested a lot of money for the tech and lawyers mainly, because we needed to create a unique legal setup in order to, let's say, to have the proper tokenization, because nowadays there are a lot of companies that are doing the tokenization, but they're simply issuing some tokens and they don't care about the legal side. We invest a lot in the legal, and that legal helps us to lend against the tokens. So we are collecting the tokens representing the fractional ownership in the building, and we could use it as a collateral for our loans, and we could calculate the risk instantly. But this is the new framework, new legal framework, and this is why we needed to create it from scratch. This is kind of a unique legal setup. So we invest a lot in the legal. When we started early in 2019. And for what we are going to use the money to, let's say, to attract a new business, to attract a new clients, because we want to have as much as possible clients interactions before the banks and other financial institutions are starting dealing with the fractional and tokenized assets. We're first company providing the loans to a tokenized asset, and we need to, let's say, to be very aggressive in the beginning to take as much as possible market share, you know.
I got it. Thank you.
Perfect. Yeah, great feedback, great responses there, and yeah, no, great job on your presentation.
Thank you.
And yeah, with that, I'm excited to bring up Joseph as our next presenter here.
Okay, thank you. Can everyone hear me? All right.
Yeah,
let me share the screen. I want to thank everybody here, Jason, the crew, everybody here, and the judges. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, you're good to go.
We're good to go? All right. My name is Joseph Fish, the owner of EVSPS. We are a manufacturer of renewable energy mobile units. Our product line is called Power On. Power On is a safer, better means of providing the needed power in an eco-friendly manner. I am very excited to share our information with you today. I would like to answer the question of the why. Why are we introducing this very safe product to you today? As we noticed in recent years, the electrification market is growing at a rapid pace. More homes are being powered by renewable energy and battery storage systems. More electric vehicles, electric drone delivery service, and electric drone monitoring systems are on the road or in the air more than ever before. The federal, state, and power authorities are invested heavily into microgrids to store energies which mitigate the high peak times. In the future, we will see more electric air taxis and other electrical factors which call the need for more power by the grid system. At Power On, we are helping to build a quality infrastructure today to meet the needs for tomorrow. To maintain the quality power supply that can be very difficult. If you're not able to create enough power in a safe and effective manner, there could be huge negative consequences to our daily lives, such as power outage or loss of power to your electric vehicles. Even worse, how about a thermal runaway at your local microgrid, which could result in loss of power to your community? You deserve a better electrical infrastructure system. Meet Power On. This lack of support for your electrical needs will be solved by a portable, flexible, automated renewable energy mobile unit. We believe that this mobile unit can serve you in your community by the following factors: safety, safety, and safety. Our state-of-the-art fire suppression storage system will help prevent battery fires. This process will ensure constant power at the same time, no loss in property or lives, even if there was a battery mishap. The UL and IEEE safety standards is the gold standard for safety. We will achieve all the necessary safety standards to ensure your power needs are being met. This is the reason why POWR is planning to build a safer product today to meet the standards for your tomorrow. With my engineering and military background, we are building a military-grade quality product for the military and for commercial applications. At POWR, our safety and trust will be the cornerstone to our brand. At POWR, we have a clear advantage to our business solution. As you notice in this chart, POWR can replenish land electric vehicles, replenish electric drones, provide power to microgrids. We have the mobility factor, and we have a built-in renewable energy source. There is no other competitors that offer all these features in one mobile unit. How does our mobile unit work? First, our renewable energy platform will capture the force of nature to send energy into our safe battery storage unit. Our energy storage unit will deliver power to one of several custom-made systems, either a level 3 direct fast charger for land electric vehicles, an automated wireless power transfer system for electric drones, or external power needs such as electrical equipment or to the grid. This concept for a mobile unit was created to meet several of the customer needs in one overall product. This custom-made product can be built with one or more fast chargers to provide power to one or more land electric vehicles. The custom-made unit can be built as a drone hive to replenish one or more electric drones. Drones up to 5 feet in diameter or less will be able to recharge in our automated system. This custom-made mobile unit can be built as a mini microgrid to provide extra power when needed, or as a backup power unit, or a combination of all 3 products to meet your different needs throughout the years. As I mentioned before, the electrification market is growing at a rapid pace. The market analyst projections for this market will be one of the fastest growing markets. At POWR, we will position our brand to capture nearly $20 million or more by 2027 and increase growth each of the following year. How can we accomplish these projections? At POWR, we are targeting these markets. The first target market will be a governmental energy sector. We believe our state-of-the-art suppression system for battery storage will mitigate future hazard incidents, considering the several of the federal and state agencies are planning to build billions of dollars worth of safer microgrid facilities and mobile microgrid facilities. Our systems would be a good fit in a stationary or mobile application. Secondly, this system would be good for homeowners and businesses situations, as many microgrids are on their property to ensure more uptime to curb high power usage periods, which reduce energy costs. This process would go hand in hand with several advantage rebate programs and other initiatives set forth by the federal and state agencies. This process will only accelerate our product in the marketplace. Thirdly, as the drone hive to help movement of goods and services in your areas, especially with the increase of drone technology. These drone hives can be used by hospital systems, security teams, first responders, product services such as UPS, FedEx, Amazon, Walmart, and more. Finally, we are targeting remote location recharging stations for electric vehicles. Yes, this market will be smaller, however, very much needed. At POWR, we're approaching the markets in stages. Today, we are looking to build a team and find partners to help build this prototype. Our next milestone is to have a working prototype for demo days for the governmental organizations to help us to secure grants or contracts. The next stage is to scale the business to match the future demands. By 2023 to 2024, building at least 2 to 8 or more mobile units per month. We're expecting to increase sales every quarter after 2024. The cost of each unit will depend on the different features. This will be a premium product, and our quality and safety will be our signature. This presentation is to inform you of the opportunity to be part of something special. Your investment will allow POWR to build a quality product. This quality product will allow Power On to demonstrate to governmental and non-government organizations the flexibility, safety, and quality of our product. Your investment will allow Power On to secure many future contracts. Why should you invest your time and funding into our organization? This is a simple answer. You'll be part of a team that has set the priorities to make a safer stored energy system and to provide stored energy to communities and individuals that have the desire to have quality power in their homes and business. There will be individuals and businesses purchasing these storage energy systems. They will also attempt to save money by purchasing a low-cost battery for their systems. These batteries may be fire hazards. Our system is created to mitigate these fire hazards to ensure their safety, at the same time ensuring more uptime power when it is needed. Once again, my name is Joseph Fish, the owner of Power On. Our intention is to give you an alternate solution to your power needs in a safe manner. Our product is more than stored power in a box. It is a stored energy resource in a mobile unit that is safer for you, your family, your community, and beyond. We will be moving forward to make this world a better place. My question to you would be, are you willing to take a leap of faith in our abilities and concepts? Do you want to be part of a winning team? If so, feel free to communicate with me after this presentation. Thank you for your time. I'm looking forward to your questions. Thank you again.
Great job, Joseph. And yeah, excited for the questions and feedback here. Yeah, Gayatri, if you want to kick us off.
Yeah, so congratulations, Joseph. You have decided to pick up the most difficult space in the world. So we are an investor in this space and we basically know everyone. So not everyone, like as much as possible. This is one of the difficult space. I don't know how you're going to actually create a unit with 250K or 500K, because normally we have seen more than $5 to $10 million are spent in developing and testing the unit, because there's a lot that gets involved. And I also would love to hear about the range anxiety. I don't know if there's a test product or anything that has been done, because range anxiety has been an issue for a pretty long time. And I feel the project is ambitious, but you need to understand where you can start and you can make it repeatable, scalable. But at the same time, I have seen tons of decks where MIT, Harvard PhDs are coming, gain money from US Department of Energy, spend $10 million and still not getting into the growth phase. It's a very difficult space because then I think most of the people do not want to reinvent the wheel. So yeah, I don't know if you have time, but if you can talk a little bit about the range anxiety, would love to know about that.
Well, let me quickly answer. Hopefully this will clear things up. I'm working with the DoD on the battery storage space. And that's why I spent so much time talking about that particular product, because when I talked to the DOE, the federal and state agencies and the power authorities, they all said, if I don't have the UL 95 or 9540, 9540A, or the IEEE 1547, don't even knock on their doors. Don't even talk to them. So safety is a huge factor for them. And this product is in the research lab. And so we have basically tried to, a nice way of saying it, we tried to destroy batteries. We tried to do thermal runaways as much as possible. And we have found out that this product, it can safely put out batteries within our containment unit. Not only that, we have put a battery next to another battery, and we did thermal runaway, and the other battery, only thing it had on it was ashes. No physical damage at all. And so we know our system is working. And through our team, I informed them that we cannot be a one-trick pony. We cannot be just, okay, our job is to do a battery or storage system. And this is only for lithium batteries. I had a conversation with DOE, and they would like to see fuel cells. And I think that's going to be our future project. But I informed them that we can't be a one-trick pony. So this is the reason why we want to go into electric vehicle and to drones to not only provide power for the grid, but for individual users as well. And hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did. All the best.
Okay. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
There. Yeah, great question, great response there. And yeah, Jaden, I'd love to hear your thoughts or questions here.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely a great presentation, very polished off. And I echo the last comment. I definitely feel like this sounds like an ambitious project because it's a very crowded space, obviously. So what do you think is going to be like your edge? Like why you, why this company, and how do you make this into something that's hyper scalable? Because it sounds like it's very like hardware based. And so can you just talk a little bit more about that?
Yes, thank you. Thank you for your question. Yes, it is very much hardware based, but I have a hardware background. My engineering degree is into manufacturing and through research and development. And so I do agree with you that the startup costs and producing this we're kind of behind 8 ball. For instance, LG just came out with a brand new product just a few days ago, and they're promoting as the standard for all moving forward. And our product, I believe it's safer because they're still using a stack and battery system. And our product is differently because our batteries are stored individually. So if one decides to go to thermal runaway, it won't affect the whole system. And this way I can honestly commit that even though a battery goes out of service, the rest of the units will continue working. For instance, if you have, let's just do an example, a pallet that has 10 batteries. So we're at 100% usage at that point in time. If one decides to go thermal runaway or loss, now we're down to 90%. If you have a stacked battery system, if one goes out, it could have a cascading effect to the other batteries. And within the system that's been through NIST, you can see pictures of thermal runaway, which within a few seconds, this battery cascade effect could wipe out a whole system. And that's why we're very confident going forward that we will be able to match any safety concerns within the battery space. But as I said earlier, I don't want to be a one-trick pony. And so that's why we're trying to reach out to the electric vehicle industry. And that's why we're trying to expand. But hopefully that answered your question. Thank you.
Oh, great. Okay. Yeah, and Doug, we'd love to hear thoughts and questions as well.
Okay. So the biggest headline is I found myself getting frustrated as I listened to the pitch because I went through all of it and I still couldn't tell what the technology was. Now, I did hear an emphasis on safety, so I'm guessing that maybe it's in that area and that it's the packaging of batteries, but you went an awful long way without my being able to tell, is this a new battery? But apparently it's not, it's lithium batteries. You know, what is the technology? I still don't, my best I can do is guess that it's the way batteries are combined to avoid, you know, hazards. I think in terms of the market segments, I think you have to be way more focused than you are. I think when you tell a story that's as broad as this to an investor like me, it sounds like that's a recipe for failure, not success. You got to get real good at some particular application of whatever your technology really is, because the market opportunity is huge and the need is very great, but there are going to be very deep-pocketed investors, companies, technology companies and suppliers in every conceivable segment. So you're not going to go anywhere and be by yourself. So I would say to you, focus, 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 be a lot more clear about what your technology edge is, and don't chase too many market segments at the same time.
Yes, thank you very much for your feedback, sir. And that's why we point out that we're planning to do this in stages in future growth. And yes, I do agree with you about LG. LG is the battery giant of the world right now. And but we had conversations, or we're going to continue to have conversations with Black & Veatch and Schneider Electric. And so I do agree with you that I'm a very small fish, and I'm not saying that because it's my last name, but I'm a very small fish in a very big ocean. I totally agree with you about that. And I'm just trying to get my foot in the door, or our team's foot in the door, and meet with these other people, because as I informed you that I had discussions with the DOE and federal and state and power authorities, and they all have the same response. And like I was mentioned before, it's the certifications. And our certification is based around our go-to process is our fire suppression system, and how we can put out a potential hazard within seconds. And it's been proven over and over again. And maybe you're right. Maybe I should put more emphasis on that. However, not at the same time, reveal our patent, because the patent is submitted. And so that's why I didn't want to spend so much time with that. But I understand your point, and I just took a path that I thought was a winning path. Apparently, you did not think that, so I do apologize for that.
Just one person's point of view.
But I greatly appreciate your feedback, sir.
Yeah. No, great. Yeah, I mean, great job taking in the feedback, responding there, and no, great presentation overall. So yeah, great job again, and excited to bring up Sebastián for our next presentation here.
Hello, everyone. Can I be heard?
Hey, Sebastián. Yeah, if you want to share your screen and kick us off.
Sure. Well, welcome everyone. My name is Sebastián Pereira. I am the founder of Moniker. Moniker is a platform for content creators. Content creators are people that continuously engage a particular audience niche with the production of content, whether it be visual content, audio content, tutorials, courses, and various types of media in general. And now these type of people are new in the marketplace. They're only been around since 2005, more or less, when YouTube was invented. And although the market is growing, they are facing a lot of hurdles and problems in their way. First, they have to engage with very high fees. YouTube takes 50% of ad revenue and 45% of tweets, tips. And Patreon charges 23%, but that's aside of what banks are charging and exchange rates that are always the worst when you are trying to exchange money to a bank. They always choose the worst exchange for you and the best for them. Additionally, this creates a very low content retention cycle. Content is churned quickly, and once it is distributed, there is no incentive to continue with that content, because it is very easy to pirate, and once the window of opportunity is closed, basically the content created in the past doesn't generate revenue anymore. And finally, the COVID crisis has actually created a 33% decline in ad revenue for content creators, because a lot of more people entered the space, and actually companies decided to withhold ad campaigns because they were not sure about how the future was going to look like. So our solution is to create a platform that tokenizes content through the blockchain. This content will be distributed and provably ownable through a decentralized ledger technology that will create proof of ownership and will force content creators to engage with past content and engage their audience in a better place. Additionally, through the blockchain, we could accept micropayments much lower than what traditional finance is able to do right now. In the United States, the content market is projected to be 13.8 billion this year, and that's a growth of 30% on average year over year. And right now, there are 2 million content creators that make above 6 figures. Additionally, most of the content creation economy is under 35 years of age. Actually, 68% of the market is under 35. So our business model is we're gonna create this platform to issue content through the blockchain that's gonna allow us to charge a lower fee. So to give an idea, right now, the average fee on the Cardano blockchain that we are trying to look to use is 7 cents, regardless of the amount that is transferred through it. So that would be the base fee of our platform, just 7 cents for however much amount you want to send to the content creator. We also sell blockchain domains that are ownable by the content creator and a secure space where they can create their own content without fear of restrictive and mercurial terms of service that are often put forward by platforms such as Instagram or YouTube. Finally, our entire ecosystem will be bound by one single token issued to our platform. Our competition in the legacy system right now is platforms such as Patreon and OnlyFans that use the banking system and the international money settlement, and that's what makes them so expensive, so inefficient, and why they are not able to accept micropayments, and why they have to take such huge chunks of the revenue of the content creator. And Fanadize, that is a content creation platform on the Binance Smart Chain. It's also blockchain based, but they are using a different architecture that would make it more expensive than what we're proposing. So why would content creators choose us? Well, first, we understand that content creators are actually entrepreneurs like us. They have to look for product market fit. They have to look at a beachhead audience. They always need to iterate in their content in order to stay current and relevant. So we are offering them a platform with a lower fee, provable ownership through the blockchain. Content creators will receive a resale value of anything that was sold through our platform. This would create greater content engagement with their audience and control over their own space. So our market adoption will be, we're going to start with visual content media. That would be anything from travel blogs, modeling, cosplay, and that kind of stuff. We can offer lower transactions, and we believe that the merger of the content economy and the blockchain will create a new market that right now is not being utilized by any of the legacy platforms that are currently on the market. So right now the founding team is just me. I'm Sebastián Pereira. Previously, I founded a coffee trading company that worked through the internet and also through the blockchain. I was part of the MIT Entrepreneurship Bootcamp 2018. Actually, our team won the first place in that competition, and I'm a certified blockchain developer. So what we're looking to do is a private sale of our token in order to raise $800,000. That would give us one year runway in order to create the basic functionalities of the platform. That would be the distribution of visual media to the blockchain, and also the creation of custom tokens for the content creators that will be able to give them to their audiences without having to use the command line, or will be a graphical interface. Well, thank you everyone for your attention.
Great job, Sebastian. And yeah, excited to turn it over to our panelists. Let's start with Jaden. I would love to hear your questions or feedback.
Awesome. Thanks for the presentation. A couple of just like feedback things I have. I would definitely start with just a little bit about who you are and like have a hook that really like gives me a clear understanding of it was a little bit confusing. Your actually like value proposition is, but I think that once you got to that, that was like, okay, now I get where this is going. And it's helpful to know your background too, and like why you're the one like doing this and why you're interested in this space. So I pull that to an earlier slide. It'll just real investors who are listening more easily. I would love to hear from you also kind of what you see as like the next milestones that you're trying to reach with this race.
The next milestone, well, right now, what we are currently doing is trying to develop the smart contracts in order to prove them on a test network. So if you're familiar with the blockchain space, at the moment, Cardano is not able to run smart contracts. It is a functionality that's going to be added in August, probably. So we are doing a local development, but that, I mean, we are using a local network of connected PCs in order to validate and develop these smart contracts. And once Cardano has deployed the smart contract capabilities of their network in August, we're going to deploy this on a test network and trying to run a few tests with people from all parts of the world and content creators we have approached privately in order to run this test.
Perfect. Yeah, great response there. Doug, we'd love to hear any comments or questions as well.
So The thing that occurs to me first is that when I think about content, I think about content platforms and the question of how you attract audience, because in general, I think it's the content platforms that own the customer. So I'm not sure I understand how you're going to generate, throughput for these content creators. I understand lower fees are better than higher fees. I understand the way you're trying to use the blockchain, but what is it that's going to enable your solution to expose lots of customers or consumers to the content that's using your system? Or did I misunderstand your whole business?
Well, I would disagree a little, because I don't think it's the platform that attracts the public. It's actually the content creator. Because if you look at the space of content creators right now, a content creator can have presence in YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, and actually the audience will migrate to all the different platforms in order to consume the content of the creator. So actually it's the content creator, the one that's driving throughput or audience for the platform that is just there to create network effects and to keep some sort of platform of framework where the content creator is going to post the content. But what I would say is that if we attract the content creators to a better economic model, they will bring their audiences to our platform, and that way we won't need to engage both sides of the equation. We just need a content creator and the audience will come with them. And I don't think right now the platform is that what drives the market in the content creator economy.
I don't have anything else, Jason.
All right. No, strong response, Sebastian, and yeah, great feedback there. Yeah, Gayatri, love to hear your thoughts and questions.
Okay, great job, Sebastian. I would strongly suggest you to work a little bit on your value proposition, because it was not very clear. I kind of agree with all the judges. More or less, great work done. I think you have to work a little bit on how you can bring these content creators on your platform and how to build a revenue model. I think there's more thought that needs to go into this. So my suggestion will be to more work on researches and market understanding, and I think you'll get there.
Thank you.
All right, yeah, great job, Sebastian. Great feedback all around, and yeah, excited to bring up Robyn as our next presenter here. Perfect. Yeah, if you want to share your screen and kick us off. You're still on mute.
Hello, everybody. Okay. Hi, everyone. I am Robyn Arnold, and I'm the founder and CEO of Anjanette, an online retailer that curates, designs, and sells sensory-friendly clothing, luxury items, and accessories for underserved body shapes. We make you look good and feel good. Within the fashion industry, designers design for 3 standard body shapes. The focus has been on the hourglass shape, which is what you see on our runways. However, this only makes up 20% of our population. Studies show that we are missing 6 more body shapes for women. Additionally, 1 in 20 people have sensory issues. Many times, people associate sensory issues with autism, when in fact, you do not have to have autism to have a sensory issue. I am a parent of a son on the autistic spectrum, and I have witnessed what this feels and looks like. So we are missing out on giving them what they want. As you see, the single body shape of hourglass stands alone. There are 3 variations of the hourglass, which leaves the remaining 6 body shapes. Nothing fits. We are bound by standard sizes and have to adapt our body to clothing. People get body shamed for picking the wrong size and do not feel good. Having tags can be debilitating to someone with severe sensory disorder. We want to change that. Seams are bothersome, or fabric of clothing is preferred. We want to give people what they want. Our solution is to offer sensory-friendly clothing and curate and design for the 9 body shapes instead of only the hourglass. We are also offering access to designers for exclusive and custom designs. The result of this is big. People are happier when they get what they want. Women have had to tolerate the industry's fashion design model far too long. This has not been acceptable in any other industry. Fashion should be no different, being that clothing is such a basic need. This is not what people want, and we want to turn this model upside down. With personalization, customers can look good and feel good. They no longer have to take their clothing to the tailor. Retailers can experience reduced returns. We currently see $500 billion in the industry in returns. That's a lot. So that's less waste in landfills. We also want to support the communities we serve. Starting out, we're contributing 5% of our profits to adults with autism. We have experienced a lot of growth over the years, and online retail sales makes up over 21%. In 2020, sales growth increased by more than 3 times the previous years. The opportunities and growth is predicted to continue over the years. While business is currently opening up and more people are hesitating to go to places with large groups. Millennials and higher wage earners are leading the pack with online shopping. So that's where we're focused. As you see, the issues are prevalent across the country, and it's the same all over the world. Growth can continue exponentially once the US Foundation is established. The competition landscape is low. You can find sensory-friendly clothes for kids across the internet, such as on Etsy. For adults, the clothing is therapeutic and not very fashion forward. Offering fashionable designs for different body shapes and sensory-friendly clothing for adults is not really happening in the market today. And we want to change that at Anjanette. We will offer the direct-to-consumer model for curated products and custom designs. The subscription model will provide consumers access to designers to customize designs for them. This is the long pull for us, targeting 2022. The team is phenomenal. They're scrappy and they do whatever it takes to get the job done. Most recently, we added a project manager that will be starting this week. All of them have experience working in retail fashion and beyond. I have 25 years in IT and have worked in retail fashion as digital director at Hudson's Bay Company. My ask is $600,000 to cover all that we have to do and run the operation, plus delivery. Again, I am Robyn Arnold, the founder and CEO of Anjanette. I thank you for your time.
Great job, Robyn. Yeah, really good presentation and excited to hear. Let's kick it off with questions or feedback from Doug.
Okay, let me switch video on here a second. This strikes me as a really interesting subject. It's very easy for me to believe that there is significant demand waiting to be served for clothing that adapts better to these different body shapes. So it feels like a powerful idea. In order to implement this idea, though, you are also talking about a more personalized manufacturing process. So I'm curious, what the foundation is for being able to respond, not just to, sizes as we normally encounter them, but, made more complicated by body shape. And I just didn't understand what you were talking about with sensory friendly and the reference to autism. I have absolutely no idea what you're talking about. But the idea that you create a system that is more responsive to real body shapes, this strikes me as a big idea.
Okay, so the first question regarding body shapes. We're focused on using artificial intelligence to help us streamline the process and have speed to market with designing, as well as selecting products that are custom made to the person, the consumer. So in other words, they can look at the products. If they want to tweak them, they'll have a list of questions, very short questions, only 6, that they can respond to about their body shapes. The result of that, they will get ideas of the types of outfits they can select. And when they select them, they may want to tweak them slightly, and they'll be able to do that. And so
the thing that I'm not getting, and I'm still not getting, and I think you need to focus on being able to tell your story in a way that makes this easier to get. I'm focused on the actual manufacturing of the articles. I'm assuming that you are in fact delivering clothing. And if that's the case, this is not an easy problem to solve in a cost-effective way. I remember years ago, there was a startup here, the founder's name escapes me, but he was very well known because he'd had a big exit. And he was all about, the application of these more personalized designs to blue jeans. And, the whole thing fell apart, was a disaster, simply because the flexibility of the manufacturing just wasn't there to do it in a cost-effective way. Now, this is a lot of years ago. And, I do know that there's a better foundation to work from in some areas. There's a guy out of Northeastern that's doing a personalized furniture design. I know his system, but in that case, the manufacturers of furniture are already using basically entirely software-driven robots to make the furniture in the first place. I have no idea how people make, clothing in large amounts, but you need to be able to tell this story addressing head on why your personalized manufacturing responsive to these different body shapes is something that's going to yield a product that people can afford to buy. That's it, Jason.
All right, no, that's great feedback.
Thank you.
And yeah, Gayatri, love to hear your thoughts or questions.
Great job done. Victoria's Secret actually was one of my clients when I used to work for IBM. So I can totally understand what you're doing. So congratulations. But I would love to understand some of the competitive advantage that you have compared to like Stitch Fix and others who are doing similar things. And what is the technology behind it? Because since you are pitching it to the VCs, you want to be a repeatable, scalable company and you want to grow really fast. So I think if you can like go through the value proposition on the technology side, what could be done, I think it's a great company. I love how you told the story because it's not easy. Everybody is struggling with their body problems, but definitely a great job done. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. One thing I want to mention about the body shapes, a lot of times people are offering clothing that meets certain body sizes, which is different. What makes us different is we're focused on the actual shape and making sure what we give you meets that demand versus a bunch of sizes.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, great feedback, great response. And Jaden, yeah, I would love to hear from you.
Awesome. Who do you kind of see as like the main competition right now for you? And then we talked a little bit about like the supply chain concerns that might be in place. What do you think is like the biggest barrier for success in scaling a company like this?
So as far as competitors, I mean, the landscape is low. I would say there are a lot of people trying to offer designs for people on Etsy. That's one of the competitors I mentioned, where you have kind of a marketplace of people trying to do this in a more personal way. Again, the difference is they don't seem to be focused on being fashionable. We're looking to provide access to designs that a lot of people with issues with their body or sensory issues, they're not getting access to designs today. It's very much a t-shirt with no seams or socks. And a lot of times it's focused on kids or it's some therapeutic design. And then your question about the scalability, the biggest challenge, I would say speed. And that's why we're looking at artificial intelligence and how we can automate mundane tasks. How can we better know where inventory is? We are looking at technology where we can look around the warehouse and determine where to find a product and get analytics sent to your mobile phone. There are a myriad of ways that we can streamline process with technology, and that's what artificial intelligence offers us today. And so that's what we're focused on. Some of it will be partnerships with other technology organizations where we have agreements at a low cost, and some of it we will be able to do. So that's where we're focused on with the scalability.
Amazing, thank you.
Perfect. Yeah, great job. And yeah, great presentation. Really excited to bring up our last presenter here as well. Certainly not least, Akil. Excited to have you share your screen and take it away here.
Thanks a lot, Jason. We have heard such high impact pitches today. So I think I'd lead off with cooling down with a small story, if I may. Yeah, this is Mark. Mark is a small business owner. He's a very hardworking young chap. He has a wife and with two very beautiful kids. He sells a myriad of products in his store, some of which he resells, some of which he manufactures himself. And he's doing pretty well. But then suddenly the pandemic hits and he sees all his customers running away from his store and he finds it very hard to pay his rent and mortgage. And Mark basically falls into depression. Then he comes with an idea. Why doesn't he list all his products on e-commerce sites like Amazon and Walmart? And then eventually he falls in love with the idea because, let's face it, that's the only option he's left with. He painstakingly puts up all his products up on these platforms, but then soon he realizes he's not making any sales because the competition is so high and he doesn't know how to navigate the nuances of selling on e-commerce. He then decides to run ads in a bid to actually make sales. But again, he realizes because of the high ad spend, the referral fees, and the cost that he has to pay consultants who actually know a thing, he's actually making peanuts on his business at best. And at worst, he's actually losing money with every sale. He decides to meditate on his problem in the hopes, and let's face it, he's really desperate at this point. And then he comes across Xena Intelligence. Xena Intelligence at its core is an algorithm which automates a lot of the pay-per-click ad campaigns that happens on platforms like Amazon and Walmart. It essentially completely automizes the task for these small business owners. For a task that usually takes, let's say, about 100 hours a week, Xena can do it within a second or with a click of a button. It uses proprietary algorithm to identify the high performing keywords and actually puts ad dollars towards that and removes the keywords which do not perform as well. It also uses smart data analytics for those business owners who are actually interested to know why their products are selling. So it will help them in their future endeavors. For Mark, as far as we are concerned, he just has to open the app and just with one click, all his keywords are optimized, the competitors are targeted, and his ad budget is optimized as well. Furthermore, he's also able to see how much he's expected to sell in the next 30 days so that he can order for procurement and worry about that aspect of the business. And so essentially, Xena takes Mark to the moon. He's able to sell quite well, and he's able to live happily ever after, all thanks to Xena. Now, Mark may be a fictional character, but his story is very much true. This is one of our first clients they had a small store in Wellesley, Massachusetts. They had a travel goods store, and we were able to help them out in these times, just like the way that I described. So Xena has come a long way. Currently, we have 4 clients. Some of them are resellers, some of them are manufacturers. On an average, we get around $70,000, and this is supposed to be the lean period. E-commerce sales usually boost in Q4. And so currently, we have over 240 products under management, which Xena manages through ad campaigns. On an average, we have been able to see an overall growth of 30% month over month. And most importantly, the reduction in ad spend by over 40%, again, month over month. The surprising thing that we found out in the initial stages was that this market is filled with competitors who essentially do nothing. At best, companies like Jungle Scout, Celozo, they claim to help business owners, but the fact is they do not help in decision-making, nor do they help save the small business owners' time, which I think is the most important, crucial element. On top of that, they charge a hefty amount too. So my idea is to have Xena Intelligence, once it's completely automated, of course, to have a very fixed fee and the revenue dependent heavily on the sales that we are able to generate. I think this model, we have tested out different models, and this model seems to be the one that the small business owners seem to particularly like. It's like I said, it is not currently automated. All the process that I just described is being done manually, and it takes a lot of time. The only way to make this scalable is to automate it. Not just make it scalable. Humans have their own limitations in terms of time and energy. Having an automated system actually increases the effectiveness of the whole platform. The algorithm, which I just described, it's not a one-shot algorithm. It keeps evolving with time because e-commerce platforms or e-commerce logics keep evolving with time. Also, it's very important to know that as a small business owner, it's very hard to dominate a market, primarily because they do not have the resources to run very expensive ad campaigns that the big companies do. The only way for small business owners to stand a chance is through automation. Now, next question, of course, is what would it actually take for Xena to be completely automated? So we have been able to develop a kind of a plan to go forward, which basically involves building a team, building the product, and of course, the marketing. The key here, of course, I've mentioned the costs it would take for each, and we can go in detail offline. But the key here is that most of the money would actually go to customer acquisition, because as we all know, acquiring small businesses is a very expensive proposition, and it's very important to build a very strong inbound marketing, which I think we need to, or me as a co-founder needs to focus on going ahead. To that end, I'm looking to raise $650,000, which would take us to Series A, which would be about 12 months from now. Looking into the future, Xena is not just about e-commerce, not just about Amazon or Walmart. Its application is almost limitless. The very fact that Xena can predict how a product can be sold online can be much more valuable than the actual sales itself. So I think that is one North Star that we are always working towards. Currently, there are over 5 million small businesses who are selling online. And the fact is that only about 16% of them are actually making profits in the first year of selling. So you can understand the market need for it as we stand. A slide on awards and recognition. We have been recently accepted into Mass Challenge, the cohort which is about to start, and also been given the Tech Innovation Award at Babson College. Thank you so much for listening. I'd love to hear your feedback and questions.
Great job, Akil. Yeah, great presentation. And I'll start with, yeah, Gayatri, if you want to kick us off. And also, we can take an audience question as well, if anybody wants to submit in the chat. But yeah, Gayatri, we'd love to hear your feedback and questions on this.
Yeah, first of all, great presentation. I feel like we all needed Xena Intelligence in our life, the way he came as a superhuman being. So great job in storytelling. Literally, we were all invested in Mark, like what happened to Mark. I will strongly suggest other startups also to understand how he did well in telling the story. We literally didn't care about Akil, Suresh, and I. We wanted to care more about Mark. So good job done. One of the things that I would love to understand and know is that, and this is again the typical question, because you're in the VC space, you're raising money. I would love to know, where do you see yourself in the future, in the next 3 years, where you want to be? Just love to know a little bit about that vision.
Yep. Like I said, I think the way that Xena actually started, it's funny. It did not start off as an e-commerce tool. My original vision was to have a tool which can connect to the back end of all these small businesses and actually automate consulting, because I realized that 95% of consulting is basically data analytics, which could be automated. But then, you know, of course, I realized cost of customer acquisition and short-term value creation and stuff like that. But I still truly believe that once Xena has enough users, enough data, I think in the future, it can also go beyond e-commerce and actually have that level of automated consulting, the kind of quality that, you know, a Fortune 500 gets through these big consulting firms. I think that kind of inputs can also be received from such a tool which has that power of data analytics. So going forward, I do have that on the back of my mind, but I think the power of data is so much that I think that's where I want to lead to.
Thank you.
Yeah, great question, response there. Jaden, love to hear from you.
Yeah, great presentation. Great attention grabber. And I like the overall flow of the presentation and how you like talked about. I'd love to know kind of what you see as like the lifetime growing to a point and then switching over to other services like your Amazon on your platform.
I'm sorry, Jaden, I assumed you asked about lifetime value.
Yeah, yes, right.
Yeah, that's the other good thing about it. The 4 clients that I just described, we have been working together for I think about 1.5 years now. It's a very sticky kind of a proposition where if somebody does come into our ecosystem, it's very difficult to leave because the value is so great and you can actually see the growth month over month. So there's no actual incentive to leave. So if that was indeed your question, I'm sorry you got cut off there. It's one of the plus points which I did not mention initially.
That's great. Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, great job. And looks like you have some interest in the chat as well. So yeah, great comments from Marsh and Yara and a few others. So yeah, excited, or great job, and great job to everybody that presented today, as well as all of our featured judges, Gayatri, Jaden, and Doug. And yeah, once again, anybody that wants to, or you can either connect with each other and with our featured startups through the Prepare for VC community platform, or through the form we had sent out. We'll send out a follow-up message as well. And yeah, really appreciate everybody taking the time with us today to learn about all these amazing startups. So yeah, thanks again, everyone. And really enjoyed having you all with us today. So yeah, this is also just a quick refresher. These are companies that are halfway through our program right now, and they're going to take all of the feedback they've gotten today and continue to gear up. Excited to see where they can go over the next several weeks here before the final presentations in week 16. But yeah, amazing feedback, great pitches, and thanks again everybody for coming out today.